Our story today from Acts 16 actually calls for a geography lesson. That's why we have this map that's on our wall in our basement that you've seen a few times if you've been watching worship services and some of these devotions. We're not going to do it the whole world though. We need to get closer for this geography lesson, so that helps us understand where we're at. That's the Mediterranean Sea, just to give you a few references. That, of course, is the boot of Italy. This is current Greece. And, of course, when we're reading in Acts, we're not reading about current names and current places to one extent. So that's one lesson to talk about. The other is I'm reading from this Message, which is a very contemporary paraphrase of the Bible. And it uses a word that's not in many others. And that word we will recognize. And when I come to it, I'll pause and say something about it. I'll say something about it now. The word is European. That word probably wasn't even a word at the time of the Bible. Of course, this translation uses that word. And let's determine the importance of it as we go along. Acts 16. Yesterday we read, first of all, that Paul and Barnabas had a dispute and went their separate ways, so the story continues with Paul and his associates. Paul went to Phrygia, then on through the region of Galatia. Their plan was to turn west into Asia province, but the Holy Spirit blocked that route, so they went to Mysia and tried to go north to Bithynia, but the Spirit of Jesus wouldn't let them go there either. Proceeding on through Mysia, they went down to the seaport of Troas. All right, here we go. I do believe that is the region we're talking about right there. Center of where my shaky hand puts us. Right there. Okay, that's where we're at in the story. When it continues. That night, Paul had a dream. A Macedonian stood on the far shore and called across the sea, "Come over to Macedonia and help us." The dream gave Paul his map. Let's figure out where we're at before I continue. He is standing here for the dream. His dream is that he sees someone across this water over here in Macedonia. So he's here dreaming of someone calling to him for help from over here. Okay, why is that important? I'll continue. We went to work at once, getting things ready to cross over to Macedonia. All the pieces had come together. We knew now for sure that God had called us to preach the good news to the Europeans. That's the difference. One area is the Middle East, one area is Europe. Putting out from the harbor at Troas, we made a straight run for Samothrace. The next day, we tied up at New City and walked from there to Philippi, the main city in the part of Macedonia, and even more importantly, a Roman colony. We lingered there several days. On the Sabbath, we left the city and went down along the river where we had heard there was to be a prayer meeting. We took our place with the women who had gathered there and talked to them. One woman, Lydia, who was from Thyatira and a dealer in expensive textiles, known to be a God-fearing woman. As she listened with intensity to what was being said, the Master gave her a trusting heart and she believed. After she was baptized, along with everyone in her household, she said in a surge of hospitality, "If you're confident that I am in this with you and believe in the Master truly, come home with me and be my guest." We hesitated, but she wouldn't take no for an answer. She was from this region, Her name was Lydia. And in biblical history, she is considered the first European convert because she lived in the area of Macedonia, which is now considered part of Europe. Again, Greek Peninsula here, Italy, Boot here. We know all of this part. Many of our ancestors are from this region. So what's important about that? What's important about the first European? Maybe historically for us as Europeans, maybe it's important. But let's remember the message of all of these, almost every single one of these readings we've been doing for this last week. That's not important. Someone's race, someone's region, that's not important to being a Christian. The importance of being a Christian is Christ. What Christ did for us and our acceptance of that. So, our geography lesson really is about the whole world. Because it's not about regions, it's about the message of Christ. May that be your message today.